All right. Welcome to Paradigm Shift TV 314. This is your brother, Pianki Patai Muntu Nefer Amon Ra. And y'all know what it is. We are back with another powerful show with another powerful brother. This is a brother I've been looking forward to speaking to for some time. But before we get into our spiel, y'all know what I got to do. Let me do my usual greeting. Let me say hotep to my fellow Kemetic brothers and sisters. Let me say God bless to the Christian brothers and sisters out there. Let me say Islam to my Moorish brothers and sisters out there. Let me say shalom to my Hebrew brothers and sisters out there. Let me say assalamu alaikum to my brothers and sisters in the NOI. And peace to the brothers and sisters from the nation of gods and earth, them 5%ers. Let me say what's up to my atheist brothers and sisters out there. And Jumbo to everybody else throughout the African diaspora, be it here in the wilderness of the United States of America or beyond. Y'all know I say that greeting for one reason and one reason only, is because if you're black, I'm with you and I hope you with me. Our different ideologies should not keep us from uniting, and we can disagree without being disrespectfully disagreeable, and we can have unity without uniformity. And with that, my brother, please introduce yourself to the Paradigm Shift TV 314 audience.
Oh man, I'm talking with it on mute. Yes, sir. I mean, I'm Rocky. I'm just me. I don't know what else. You know what I mean? I can't say thinking of particularly special or nothing like that. I guess because the type of show it is, I'm like an agnostic atheist. You feel me? So yeah, that's just me. But yeah, let me commend you on that outstanding rundown of the different cultural and religious greetings. That was a good one right there.
I appreciate it, bro. I appreciate it. It took me a while to refine that thing, but I think I finally got it down. So, but I try to be as inclusive as I can. So, I try to make sure ain't nobody left out. The brother, our brother, the God body, Marlon Simmons, hit me up one day. He was like, "Hey, Pianki, why you don't be shouting out the gods?" I was like, "Huh?" He was like, "You don't be shouting out the 5%ers." I say, "Oh, damn, my fault, Marlon, man. I got y'all." So and then I thought about it myself. My cousin Shabaka, he a proud atheist. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna have to include my atheist brothers and sisters too. So
yeah,
it is what it is. But yeah, this brother is how old are you again, bro?
I'm 24. I'll be 25 in March, but yeah, I'm 24.
So the brother is 24 years old and is one of the most astute brothers that I've come in contact with in my 45 years. And so I think that it's truly inspiring to hear this young brother break things down. And so, like I say, I kind of been clamoring to get him on for a while, just based on his approach to knowledge and his respect for knowledge and understanding. And so, with that, bro, let me ask you some things about sort of your evolution through some of these familiar ideologies. Would you consider yourself a Christian starting out, or were you always an agnostic atheist?
So you want me to give the journey?
Oh yeah, take your time.
Okay, cool. So yeah, I mean, you could definitely say I started off as a Christian. My dad, when I was young, he's a Jehovah's Witness now. He baptized. He go hard. You feel me? Like he at your door on Saturdays with the pamphlet. That's my pops. You feel me? But yeah, he was kind of he was in and out kind of the religion. When I was young, when I was a kid, I think really he does it more because it's like a safety blanket thing. But nonetheless, dad's a Jehovah's Witness. My mom is like a Baptist Christian. She don't really go, but you feel me? We did show up on special occasions. So I come from that type of background. And then if anybody is familiar with the different sects and branches of Christianity, the first thing you would say is that's ridiculous. I would never think that somebody that's a Jehovah's Witness can be in a relationship and have children and stay together with somebody that's not a Jehovah's Witness, because that's if you know anything about it, that's how they is. You know, it's a cult. It's definitely a cult. But anyway, so yeah, that's kind of like my upbringing. In the mindset I was up, you know, I was taught in. I can say along the way, my dad was like a very realistic person though. So he didn't keep it straight. He didn't keep it straight. Always religion, religion, religion. Now that he's getting a little bit older, he on that type of time now. But my dad gave me like game from such a young age, probably stuff I was too young to know. But it set me up in the future a lot. I mean, my parents made sure I listened. I read books out loud to make sure that I can talk properly and pronounce words. I mean, I had good parents, but my dad, my pops were Jehovah's Witness. So, anyway, growing up, I felt like what I guess you could say changed my mindset is praying, and I say that because, and I don't know if other atheists can empathize with what I'm saying right now, but it was like a peculiar feeling when they told us no matter which religion I was going to, no matter what services I was attending, it was very strange when they said bow your heads and let's pray, because it never felt like, I always felt like the person who was praying first of all was lying, because I know they really not like that when they leave the building. You feel me? Like I know what type of time they on. but it felt like we just talking to ourselves. It's like it's like something like undescribable. I think the word for that would be ineffable. To be in a room full of 150 people and everybody is like so earnest and so zealous about this prayer that's being prayed, and you look around the room and you're the only one that's like, this shit, excuse my language, but you're the only one looking around the room like, this shit right here really goofy to me right now. Like, I don't get it. Like, we listen to a man talking to himself for our souls. You feel me? Like that is what threw me off. So as I'm growing up, and I'm my dad's becoming a more devout. So I was forced to go, attend the meetings, go to the kingdom halls and stuff. I rebel more and more based off that feeling, because I'm just thinking now that it's just a Christian thing, right? It's the Christian way that they pray that makes me feel so like such of an outcast, such of an ideological outcast or a theological outcast. So what I do is, because I feel that's strange, as I enter my teenage years, my pops is introducing me to 80s and 90s rap. I'm listening to some Nas. He randomly slotted me Marcus Garvey, the Marcus Garvey book with his speeches. He randomly slotted me Malcolm X. He slotted me Frederick Douglass. He slotted me narrative of the life of this slave child. I forget the woman's name. Y'all know what I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about.
Sojourner Truth. Yeah.
Okay.
So he slotted me those books as I'm growing. So
tell me he gave you a little pot.
I'm sorry.
I say, tell me he gave you a little bit of pot.
Oh yeah. Off real. Nah,
okay.
see that. What's funny is that my mom told me this story of a time when I was barely able to talk, and they were playing Biggie and Pac in the car, and she got almost scared because I had and my voice not the deepest now, but I had a very, very squeaky voice as a kid, like cartoon squeaky. Okay. So she said she heard somebody in the back say, "Play that again." You feel me? Like just like that. and so her mom was like, "Yo, like I'm like 3. You feel me? I'm 2.5 and 3. She ain't never heard me put that many words together, so she threw it off." So,
okay. Yeah, hey, so you was profound from the beginning, then. Okay, I got it.
They put me on it early, but I didn't know much about like Nas. Like I was introduced to a lot of the like more niche type of artists that were great in their own right. So I'm listening to Illmatic album, and the impact the Illmatic album had on me mixed with the literature my dad was giving me at the time, it was like a cultural explosion was happening inside of me. I'm 13, 14 years old. I read a lot. I've always read a lot. I've always been well read. So I'm smart enough to know what's going on around me. So you got this music. So now I'm getting into writing. So now I'm, trying my hand at writing poetry and stuff like that. So and all this going on, I'm like, nah, there's no way. Like this whole Christian stuff feels so weird. I found ways to express myself. So now let me see if there's a particular ideological, religion or whatever for me, or cultural, idea for me. So I'm still forced to be going to the Kingdom Hall, but anyway, I'm doing my research. And I even looked into Christians going gas. I looked into Satanists. I looked into Rastafarianism. I looked into Hindu. I looked into Buddha. I looked like this is how genuine of a person I am. It was none of that because they say it's bad. It's bad. I wanted to know for myself, was this for me, right? Regardless of how anybody judged me. I did the research. So anyway, I ended up becoming a Rasta because my dad slapped me Bob Marley. Changed my whole you know what I mean?
Man.
Changed my whole
Hey, salute to your pops, man.
So I'm listening to Bob Marley, you feel me? And I'm bobbing my head to Nas, so I'm on some real militant African stuff. So I get into the Rastafarian faith. And at this time, I'm rebelling more because I'm forced to go to the Kingdom Hall. I'm like, whoever they praying to don't exist, so this is fake. You feel me? So anyway, to move forward past to my adult years and more recent years, after the Rasta thing came out, the next thing I saw was I fell into was being a Hebrew Israelite. Because my biggest thing from my being introduced to such amazing literature and music was that I don't know about this other stuff because none of them people in that Kingdom Hall really look like me, and all the people that lead it don't look like me, and they can't see anything from my standpoint. They can't identify themselves with me. So now I'm conscious and cognizant enough of the differences between us, and it's like a gulf between where I am psychologically and where those different groups are psychologically, and especially in the Kingdom Hall, right? And at this time, there was no more church because my mom really wasn't. She was one of those show up on a special day. So anyway, I get into the Hebrew Israelite because I see it's a prideful black thing. It's funny, I actually didn't know anything about them. I got a story about the first time I interacted Hebrew Israelites. I was working at Main Event, and it's like a bowling alley. It's like an adult arcade, right? They got a bar in there. Kids go there in the daytime, but after like I think 6, 7 o'clock or something like that, it's like for adults, and they open to like 2 a.m. So it's late one night. I'm working. It's like 12 o'clock, and 3 men short about my height. I'm about 5'6". Walk in, right? Dude looked kind of similar to me. Really, it's just because he light skinned anyway. Walk in, they got the hat, they got the kufi on, and I'm thinking they Muslim off rip, and they got the zeets, the tassels on the 4 corners of their garment. So whole time, I'm super woke. You feel me? When I say super woke, I say it, funnily because that's the mindset I'm in. I'm saying remember the ridiculous black stuff black people had no business doing. I'm saying it was a black
Alan Payne from CB4.
Yeah. What'd you say?
I said you Alan Payne from CB4. That's a little before your time, but you remember that clip? I'm blacker than black. I'm black.
Yeah.
You understand? Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm on that type of time. You feel me? I'm the first pool table black. You feel me? I'm on that type of time. So anyway, I see him and I asked him. I walked up to him and I'm like, "Yo, so I'm curious. No disrespect, but I seen the tassels and I see the hat and I'm kind of confused. I know one is Judaism, one is Islam, so I'm trying to figure out where you from." And guess who I ran into? Devon Prospect was the man I ran into. We got the same first name, which was crazy when we first spoke because we got the same first name too, Ronald. You know what I mean? So anyway, he tell me about Deuteronomy, and he break it down to me. He got I think it's 2 or 3 other brothers, and they all pitching in and dialoguing, right? And all of these men are doing very well for themselves. You know what I mean? They dress nice, they look nice, they clean. I'm working at the motherfucking, you feel me, adult arcade spot, you feel me? So I'm like, so
you wouldn't around, you didn't meet no like dumb, for lack of a better term, Israelites who was just strictly coming out of the Bible. You meant some actual people who
Yes,
was,
sir.
yeah, okay.
I met in these men. I say when I think I said it earlier. I know some Hebrews that'll give anybody a run for their money,
Yeah,
no matter how smart they are. These is the men I'm talking about because
I
these
know
are I got.
exactly what you mean now. Yeah,
Yeah. These some men that are like natural geniuses, like without research, just the way how sharp their mind are is so on point. And one brother that I start talking to a lot, I still talk to him now. The male, he was the one that was engaging with me most, breaking everything down to me. You feel me? He's a teacher. He teaches in Atlanta. One of the smartest people I've ever talked to in my life. So anyway, they get me on, and so that's the first person I run to. So imagine me, super black on black, talking to them. And it's like, yo, this is crazy. They told me Deuteronomy 28, they said you'll be brought here on ships. I'm like, only black folk. You feel me? They getting me with all the game.
they got you.
Piaki, listen. They getting me. My boy said, and you will be offered for sale and no one will buy you. And I'm like, hold on, that don't make sense. They said black unemployment. They got me. I'm like, okay. I'm like, okay, my boy, okay, y'all got me. I'm in. Tell me where the temple at or the mosque, whatever you call it. You feel me? I'm there. You feel me? ASAP. So, anyway, go through with that. I start showing. I go there for about a year and a half. I'm down. This is very recent. So during this time, I'm making a transition. During this time, actually, being a Hebrew Israelite played a big part in my life because I kept getting into street shit, kept getting locked up since I was 17. It was never a year where I wasn't free. And I'm 24 now, and I was only like 20, 21, 22 at the time. We're talking about every year within my life, I got in trouble some type of way. And this is not something that I'm proud of, but I bring that up to say when I became a Hebrew Israelite, it gave me the discipline, right, to do things the right way. So, to instead of taking a fast route, be smart about what you do. Think about things that you do before you do them. It did give me some discipline because I was running wild with no discipline. I can't hold you on that. So anyway, with that, I kept going for about a year and a half. And then there's these set of lectures. And to bring y'all up to where I am now, there's a set of Black History Month lectures that they were having at the place, at the specific place the congregation met at. And after these Black History Month lectures, I noticed a couple brothers from other Black religion showed up. I seen a brother from NOI and I seen a Moorish brother. So I'm like, yo, this Hebrew thing. So I'm really teed because I see black on black show up in attendance at a Hebrew Israelite spot who they argue with on YouTube in support of Black History Month. So I'm like, we busting, you hear me? We busting. So anyway, after the lecture, so I have a very important conversation. I think I forget who was giving the lecture, but during this time, a close friend I used to have was like my brother. I'm introducing him into it too. He see me changing. He sees shit. The house I moved in was ridiculously big for me to have with a roommate, and we 21. He seen the type of bread I was getting. You know what I mean? He seen the moves I'm making. So now he falling in and with me too, which is my biggest regret that I bought somebody that was like my little brother in that, and he got trapped in with the camps. I'm not saying being trapped in with the camps is bad, but some of his rhetoric is like, it's ridiculous. Anyway, so during this time, I'm reading more and I'm studying more. So I'm already looking at some of the stuff sideways, but since it's so black on black, I'm like, it's cool, I'm with it. So after the lecture, bring y'all back to the day. After the lecture, I have a conversation with Devon, and he was breaking down to me about the elephant papyrus. I think it's Amherst. I think it's called Amherst 63. I think that's the specific number, and it's a song. And then he was breaking down to me how the Hebrews were henotheistic, because in that specific psalm, you have mention of other gods, and you don't have a mention of one key figure in Israel, David, right? And these were Jewish mercenaries on Elephantine Island in Egypt. Um, so anyway, we had a conversation that already starts. He didn't accidentally spurred my curiosity already, because I'm like, so we know how old this is. So you supposed to be my spirit. You feel me? And that's a thorough brother. This is no salt on his name. He don't even know this happened like this. But in my head, I'm like, man, my spiritual teacher that I was watching every YouTube video, studying everything. You feel me? Like looking at his research, he done told me some info, being 100 with me, and now I'm looking at the other info using logical thinking, and I'm like, something is off here. So later we go outside, we take pictures, and I'm gonna repost the picture on Facebook just for you to see it. The day it's called a Unity RBG picture. You can see how young I was in a picture. I look like a boy. You feel me? That was only 4 years ago, but it's still funny. I ain't had no hair on my face, none of that. So anyway, we all outside talking, dapping up. We about to leave. My little brother, he drove that day, so he kind of rushing me. So I didn't get time to finish my conversation with Devon. So I spoke to this other dude that was kind of big there, a little bit bigger than me. It turned out being Kyle, right?
Okay.
So I'm talking to the Moorish brother, and I asked him, so what did he think about the Hyksos? Because after what Devon told me, I'm trying to figure out, was the Hebrews and was the Exodus story happen how it happened, right? There was another conversation that stirred that curiosity up in me between him and Kyle that had it. So I'm asking, so who do you think the Hyksos are? I'm asking everybody except Devon, because I didn't really like his answer. You feel me? I wanted an affirmation of my Hebrew belief. I was having an identity crisis. So I asked the Moorish brother, who do he think the Hyksos are? The Moorish brother say, well, I think it was a mix of people. So I'm like, okay, he ain't saying nothing to me that makes sense. That don't sound like no Hebrew, you know what I mean? So I'm good on you. So I go to Kyle. And I said, Kyle, so I didn't know his name at the time, but I'm so short, you know what I mean? I'm so short, and he kind of like, he got me by like maybe 4 or 5 inches. But at the time, I'm looking at him because of the scholarly aspect and what I just seen. I'm looking up to him, you feel me? He really not that much taller than me, but it's like you just seen one of the smartest niggas you ever heard talking your life in front of you, and y'all just out here hanging out, you feel me? It was like some, you know what I mean? So like I'm looking at Devon a little shorter than me, and I'm looking up to Devon because that's how I looked. I'm like,
right.
like the Hebrew Israelite guy, you feel me? Like he might be Hebrew Israelite Jesus, because that's how it was for me at the time. You feel me? Look, hey, I ain't gonna hold you. Like I just wanted to get to the information, and he was the person that disseminated it and showed material that I can go look up for myself first. So I don't want nobody to misconstrue what I'm saying, because I know they're gonna do it.
Exactly.
That's what I mean by what I say about the guys, because I respect intelligence because of my background. So when I say I'm looking up to people, that's not me saying I'm idolizing them. That's me showing and explaining that I'm showing reverence and respect to these folks.
You show respect for their intellect.
Yeah. So anyway, I asked him, who are the Hyksos? And bro replied to me, I ain't never seen this dude prior to this. He replied to me like, and I ain't know how to take it because he kind of bigger than me. So I'm like, I can't snap out on him at the Hebrew temple. You feel me? So he tell me, man, I don't want to crush your dreams, bro, but don't ask. He said, don't talk to me, talk to Devon, because I'm gonna hurt your feelings or something like that. He said it like that, but he got that little Alabama accent. You feel me? So he said it in a joking way, but the way his accent hit, and I'm like, bro, talking real greasy. I'm looking at my little brother. My little brother, he's skinny, but he tall. I'm like, he finna try to do us at the temple. We gotta be on point, my boy. So my brother get me. We rush out, and that's the day I stopped being a Hebrew Israelite, because I thought about that moment, because I didn't know if he was joking or not. So in my head, I'm rethinking it over and over and over. Because at this time, I'm 1 foot in and 1 foot out. You understand me? So I'm thinking like,
so I'm gonna have to. What was Kyle a Hebrew Israelite at the time, or
nah? I had never seen him by this.
Okay.
By this time, he was on his way out. He may have been around the temple a couple times, but it was not a temple, but you know, the spot. But it was mostly to talk to folks. I never seen him stay there for a whole service, other than during the Black History Month lectures, where it wasn't necessarily religious. You feel me? So by this time, I came in probably a month, maybe a year as he left. This same because he attended the same spot. So anyway, yeah. So that was the day I never was my mind was changed because I went home and I start using the skills I used to become a Hebrew Israelite, right? And I start Googling stuff. I start listening to the videos that I would cut off because they went against what I was taught as a Hebrew Israelite, right? And I was told, that's by some elder Hebrew Israelites. I don't want to name them to put them out like that, but they told me, that's type of stuff. That's like work of the adversary. You feel me? That's what that is. That ain't about nothing. So I'm not even looking at. And listen, I'm such a critical thinker, and I'm such like the way that this religion reformed me and had me in a better spot and where I should have been. I'm seeing there's no possible ways for there to be flaws in it. You feel me? I'm thinking like on that type of time. Man, I got home, man. It took about all of 30 minutes, my man. And that was that. Yeah.
A half hour.
Yeah, it took about all of 30 minutes.
Wow.
And that was that what did it for me was when I looked more into the Exodus, and that being the crux of the whole story and the one of the most important aspects of being a Hebrew Israelite. It took 30 minutes for me to find enough information that invalidated the biblical account of the Exodus, and after that, it's like it was a snowball.
Oh, wow, that's what's up. I mean, but I think sometimes that we have to kind of go through these different transitions to kind of get to where we need to be, because sometimes you run into these different ideologies. Like you said, you kind of searched out and explored everything.
Yeah, and I was genuine with it. Like,
yeah,
people
exactly.
ain't gonna say all the things that I said. I was genuine. I literally,
exactly.
I'm a hands-on, tactile person. I looked up and I read all of the literature. You feel me? So,
and one of the things that I see, you 24. I had Jerome, the conscious Christian, Mr. Ubuntu, as I call him, on last night. And one of the things that I see with younger people, I think Jerome 31 maybe. One of the things I see with younger people now, and I'm 45, so I can call y'all younger people, but is that y'all more honest about where y'all are mentally and spiritually, so to speak, because people who in the position that Jerome found himself in wouldn't admit that they weren't Christians. And but what I mean is, just because he admitted that just because you say you believe in God or the Christian God don't make you a Christian.
yeah.
If you don't adhere to the tenets and behaviors that's indicative of being a Christian, you're not a Christian. Yeah. And I thought that was heavy and big of him to admit. And I know people older than me, old enough to be my parent, that would just simply say, I'm a Christian because I believe, and wouldn't dare say anything in opposition to that. And so I think with y'all coming from a more honest place, it seemed like to me, the more I talk to people who are, 10, more than 10 or so years younger than me, it's like y'all just keeping it a buck. Hey, I looked into this, I looked into that, and this is where I ultimately landed. So it's kind of it's interesting to see the difference in the sort of the lack of shame in finding your place, as opposed to just this is what I'm expected to do, so I'm doing it. If that makes sense.
But I think because we got to be honest with ourselves as people. My thing is, especially with all the process I went to, I wanted to be as genuine and honest with myself as possible. right? I wanted to look at everything and not have any double thoughts about something. You know what I'm saying? So when I say this to other people, I don't want anybody to be in a position, even if they're the type of person that prefer to have a religious faith. I don't want anybody to be in a position where they're ashamed to go look into something because it's taboo around its name. I want you to go look into it so you understand why it exists and why it's not for you, or damn, this shit really might work for me, you know?
Exactly. Parse it out and then figure out, don't just, oh, well, it's considered taboo, so I ain't gonna look into it.
Yeah,
Parse it out and then figure out
exactly.
if it worked for you or if it don't. Let me ask you this, because and I like to ask everybody this. How did your being a Hebrew Israelite affect your relationship with your parents and your siblings or and other family members, if at all?
My you know what? With my siblings and stuff, it didn't really affect them. With my mom and my dad, it really honestly didn't impact it at all. Um, they were just curious as to, you feel me, why I was wearing the funny things on my shirt and why I was wearing the hats. Man, in my wife's maternity picture, I have in our maternity pictures where we took in a photo shoot, I have Zeets and the kufi on. You feel me? Like, it's forever. That's gonna be forever.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, but nah, nothing really changed. With my
Okay.
wife, it didn't. My wife is like such an amazing person, because for her it was just like, well, if this what he want to do, I'm gonna just let him do it, and he gonna have, and I'm gonna let the man grow, and we just gonna grow together. And if this is what he gonna do for life, then this is what we gonna do. And if this is something for him to grow, then I'm gonna step back, let him be excited, because she saw how excited I was with the research and the stuff I was doing and how it impacted me positively. So she like, well, I'm gonna step back and I'm gonna let him grow, because we got married young. We got married. I was 21. I was 20, turning 21, and my wife a year older than me, so she was 21 and 22. So she still got the understanding. This a young man. He still got to grow. He a man, but he still, you know what I mean.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
she was supportive in that aspect, where she let me do, well, not let me do, she let me be me without it necessarily impacting her, you know what I mean?
absolutely. And see, and I find that interesting also, because I told you my wife and I have known each other since second grade,
Yeah.
and we got married at I was 20, she was 19. Uh, but when I transitioned away from the Christian religion, now again, being married at 20 and and not quite being as mature as I would have liked to think I was, buying a house at 19 and all of these different things. Uh, I did some things I'm not proud of today, and if I could go back and change it in order to not hurt her, I would. But I was unfaithful. I was irresponsible. All of these things did not. We had issues, but we never got divorced. When I walked away from Christianity, we damn near got divorced
Oh
because
wow.
she hard body for uh
Oh, she don't play about Jesus.
no sir. But here's the caveat. She was raised in a black church. If you ever heard me talk about Uncle Pastor, that's her uncle. And so I give the full credit for us still being married to her being a Christian, with regards to her forgiving me for those past transgressions. So it's kind of it's an interesting dichotomy between those two things, because on one hand it sort of benefited us being together, and on the other hand it damn near caused us not to be together. And it took a minute for her to come to terms with the fact that I'm not. This ain't what I'm doing no more. Now you do it because that worked for you, and that's part and parcel to who you are. I'm good with it. I ain't trying to get you to come do. No, do what you do. but that's not who I am no more. So, but it took a minute for us to get back to a good place. I'm talking about at least a year and a half. So it's interesting that your wife, being that young, had the ability to say, let him do what he do, and I'm a be there, and I'm gonna support him, and we're gonna be good regardless. At that age.
Yeah. I think that's because my wife right now, she's probably like an agnostic, if I could describe it.
Okay.
As I'm reading and learning, she right there beside me doing the same thing. But she was never. It didn't really impact because she was never really, her culturally they Catholic, but she was never really deep into Catholicism or being a Christian. She would go as a family thing, like to go out with her family and stuff like that. But it's never been a priority for her to, to attend church and make sure she prays Jesus, or whatever, however they do it.
Okay. And that makes sense. And our brother Sutek make a good point. The younger generation ain't attached to religion like the older generations were, and I think that's a fact. I'm seeing that play out more and more, because even with the comedic organization that I'm affiliated with, it's mostly people under 28 that, like, when I do my class once a month that I teach, it's mostly the people that log on to Zoom are mostly under 28, within that 25, 26 range, that's trying to learn and sort of decompress from the Abrahamic faith. So I think that's definitely what we seeing, with, especially from my probably overall,
But look,
not just our people, but everywhere.
But check this though. The reason for it is what's happening is that the importance and the impact of religious faith is having smaller and smaller importance in our day-to-day lives.
Elaborate a little bit.
I say that because we're living in, not only are we living in the information age, so there's no question that you can ask yourself that you can't Google right now, right? So there's, so not only the super access to information, but the advent of social media and the advent of things being uploadable so fast. Now what happens is, and you see it in the world now, what happens is we're being able to contact all these people from different places, and in this social media and this contact we're having, we're building like a more of a humanity type of thing, and we're being more empathetic, and we're being more tolerant to religions, and we're being less tolerant to not religions, but me being a Christian and my friend being a Muslim type of thing, right? Yeah. So we're seeing that. So now we're developing into our mindset, and the way we're developing into a way of thinking of, okay, so to be honest, the religious stuff probably should stay at home because that doesn't impact me as a person or the person that I'm friends with or that I talk to on a day-to-day basis at school at all. And also, we see and we know that because of all the information we now have access to, that probably doesn't have a direct impact on our lives. It's more of a cultural custom. Because the thing is, when I speak to people, the God don't even come up. It's not even the thing. Like these conversations,
real talk.
And I used the word niche earlier because these are niche conversations. Because me and my friends speaking, even when we talk into, like, we might have a moment where we talk on about like the origins of life and where humans come from. It's not no creationist thing. It's all dinosaur bones were dug up, and the first hominins. It's not even a question no more. So, and a lot of times when I get on these conversations, I tell people a lot of the stuff we're talking about is obsolete because in 5 to 10 years, when my generation takes on that in charge or in front kind of stance, we're not even gonna be talking about this no more. It's not even gonna be in a subject we're so much interested in. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because what we want to do is accept people no matter what now, and that's
Fact.
what the world is coming to. You see it in the world. That's what we want to do. And truthfully, I think that's the way it should be. But that's how I see it.
Yeah, I have a issue, um, and this personal, and everybody know probably too transparent. My wife be elbowing me when I get into bed after the show because she be like, "Why you have to talk so much about your personal life?" But that's just what I do, so it is what it is. But one of the things that me and my 17-year-old talk about is like issues with the gay community. Some of her friends or and they young people, but they in that community. And I feel like they just exploring and finding themselves. They may end up staying within that lane and they may venture out because they girls. And for me, it's like girls tend to explore and try to find themselves. Now, I have a personal opinion that may or may not be true. It's my personal opinion. For girls, that type of thing ain't hard to walk back because you either gonna find a dude that take pride in getting you to walk it back because he was that dude that stopped you from living that lifestyle if he a religious type of dude, or he gonna be that dude that embrace you embracing that lifestyle. So either way it go, it's a win-win.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a win-win for a female.
Yeah.
However, for a man, it ain't too much walking that back if you trying to be with a female. And so my outlook is a little different when it comes to my son. And I just tell my son, I say, listen, son, it's just I'm not comfortable with that. And my 17-year-old be like, Daddy, you're homophobic. And I'm like, no, I'm not. I talk to homosexuals all the time. I ain't got no problem with them. That's their choice to do what they want to do. I ain't no issue. However, I am my son being homosexual phobic, very much so. And I bring that up
Yeah.
because I mean I'm just keeping it a buck.
Yeah.
I'm not.
The way
I'm
you said
not.
it, the way you said it was just funny. A little
Yeah,
funny.
I'm not that way with my daughters though.
Yeah.
I don't even think about it. And
Yeah.
it don't bother me either way. But with my son, it's like, hold on, what? No, don't even play with me. Like I remember he was little and somebody put him on a wig or something. And I was one of them irrational people. And I had to kind of check myself like I'm tripping. Because I was, so but I bring that up because when I was younger, that wasn't even a conversation that I could have had with my father. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
when you said that we at a place where we accepting people for who they are, it's 100% true because I couldn't even like that wouldn't even been a conversation my father could have about me or my brothers. Like
Yeah.
the possibility or the inference that one of us could go in that direction. Because what I do tell my son is, while it's something that I don't hope for, if in the event hypothetically that you took that route, you're gonna be my son no matter what. And that it ain't nothing nobody can do that's gonna ever make me turn my back on you. Period. Like I ain't gotta like how you wear your hair
Yeah.
or whatever. I ain't gotta like the chick you date, but you gonna always be my son. And if anybody step to you in a particular way, they gonna have to go through me, no matter what your choices is. So I'm keeping that to the day I die. So either way it go, I think that I'm gonna keep that same energy no matter what. But I don't think that that's something that my father would have even like that. That's a conversation. I'm gonna bring it up to him one day just as a social experiment. Because even in his 60s, I think he would still probably spaz out.
Yeah. My grandfather, he has a brother that the story is he has a brother that is gay, or maybe his brother passed and he was gay, but he never talk about him. And they say
You went out, bro. You still there?
Can you hear me?
Yep, you back. And you went out again. I don't know what's going on. Well, you muted? Nah, you're not muted. Yeah, we can't hear you, bro. I hear you now.
It's better. We good?
Yep, you good.
Okay, cool. So, yeah, now it's like, and I feel you on that, Bianchi, and I think that's why, like people and dads like you, that raised the generation coming up, and your son is how old is your son?
14.
14. Okay. So we in two different generations, but you know, the attitude that parents have now is a lot different, and children are more accepted. But at the same time, for us, it's like, and it always has been. I'm not I don't really care about what somebody else got going on doing with their life, you feel me? Because that ain't really got nothing to do with me and mine. Because the attitude that because I have a cousin of mine, he's gay, but he's like one of my closest cousins, you feel me? He stayed with us for some years. He older than me, but you know, when he was gay, it was like nobody was surprised when I guess he came out. But that's my cousin, you feel me? Like funniest dude you would ever meet. You know what I mean? Do hilarious. But for me, it's always been, you know what I mean? That's what you do. That ain't got nothing to do with me. I don't care. And that just leave more chicks for me. You feel me? That's always been my attitude. That's always been my attitude. You know what I mean? It's always been nothing but respect. Uh, and I think that's the best way to have it. You know what I mean? Like that's what you want to do over there. You feel me? I'm gonna stick with the route. I get more chicks. You know?
Yeah. I think, and I because it always like my daughter when she would get like upset with people like, well, my friend is, and I was like, I wouldn't have never been friend. Like I just growing up,
Yeah.
it, like when I'll never forget. We was like probably between 10 and 12, my little group. And you know, we grew up on a block in St. Louis and in Berkeley in particular, where out of my 5 friends, 2 of which were brothers, um, only one of us had a father in the house.
Yeah.
Like it was straight like that. The rest of us had single mothers. My mother worked. The 2 guys that was brothers worked, and then my other friend, his mother didn't work, and then my friend who I've been knowing, the one when I was telling you about the incident
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
the one who father found me,
Yeah.
his father was in the house, and both his parents worked. Now his father worked at one of the motor companies, so his mother didn't really have to work, but she did. So they had an abundance in comparison to the rest of us.
Yeah.
So you know when we would kick it, that's the house we would kick it at. But I bring it up because it was all of us, of course, black, African American, whatever your designation is, and we it was a white kid that moved down the street across from the brothers, and they started hanging with him, and then eventually we all kind of started hanging with him, and he had 2 mothers, and we was confused, but our mothers didn't talk about it.
Yeah.
These 2 white women, you know. But they would see us playing with him, riding bikes, going to the park, whatever the case was. Well, eventually, he told my friend, whose mother didn't work, and she was a church woman. She was so much of a church woman, whereas my mother would just fix our food, and I would have to kind of help my younger siblings, me being the oldest, and we would eat. As long as we ate all our food, we was good. My friend mother, I remember the first time I ate at their house, she was like, I took a little bit of my drink and kept eating, and they weren't allowed to drink until all of their food was gone.
That's ridiculous.
And I was like,
That's ridiculous.
I'll never forget this, man. I drank, and she was like, "We don't drink until all our food is gone." I was like, "Man," and she was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Okay." And so it was something about respect for God or something. I don't know what but she mentioned some religious, right?
Yeah.
So this was the person's son who this young white boy told he liked him.
Oh wow.
And man, all I know is we didn't hang with him no more. He didn't come out no more. It was a to do about it.
Yeah.
And I lived with my grandmother, and she didn't even mention it. She was just like, "So y'all not hanging with the white boy no more?" And I was like, "No, man." She was like, "Oh, okay." All she said was probably for the best, and just left it at that. And I was like, "Dang, I wonder what happened." And we found out as we got a little older that it was a little bit of a intense conversation, and he ended up moving with his father. I seen him. This was probably about a year and a half ago. I didn't know who he was. My wife and I, we had went out to eat, and he called me by my nickname, and I was like, tattoos, yoked up, and I was like, "Do I know you?" Beard, long ass hair. I'm like, he was like, "Brian." I'm like, "Brian who?" I had no clue who dude was. So he introduced himself, and I was like, look completely different. But of course, this shit, 30 something years later. Anyway, he
I don't know if I'm the only one on here. Pianki on here, and I'm not on here.
Hey, Sue Tech was right. We talking about the wrong thing. They didn't kick me off.
Oh, Pianki, you got kicked off.
I'm
Oh man.
gonna have to wrap this up. They didn't kick me off. Sue Tech, you speaking to you just spoken into existence. But yeah, I straight got kicked off. But yeah, I ran into him and he told me he was still, gay and all of that, and asked me what I had been up to and all that stuff. And so it was interesting because I had no clue that he was gay. And I was asking him, like, what was the impact of your mother being gay on you being gay? He said it wasn't one. But in my mind, I'm like, your mother had a woman. You know what I mean? Like it wouldn't know, but he say it wouldn't. So you can only take his word for it. But by all accounts, I mean he good dude, living a productive life. No, your tattoo artist or whatever the case may be, and it is what it is. But yeah, I that whole thing devolved within like 2 months, and we just all of a sudden wouldn't know coming outside, wouldn't know nothing. And my boy was like, "Yeah, he told me he liked me." I was like, "What?" And it was so taboo. If that happened today, the kid that's heterosexual, or as I say, heterosexual, would probably be the one ostracized over the homosexual, and that's kind of the role.
I wouldn't say Pianki. I wouldn't say
I don't
that.
know, bro. I don't know.
Because look, and this is why I wouldn't say that, right? The parent probably would be if the mom went up and said something, but I wouldn't say that because, and I'm gonna be very careful with my words.
Yeah, because I don't want to get kicked off again.
Yeah. I'm gonna be super careful with my words. Now I think with children, if that happened, I think simply the child that is straight will just be like, nah, I'm good on that, my boy. You feel me? And you feel me? Like I don't swing that way and leave it at that. But if you're saying like, so are you saying his grandma went over there and said something?
His mother did, yeah.
Oh, his mother. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, his mother,
Yeah.
not his
The
grandma.
one who told me we don't drink until we done eating.
Oh, now, yeah, you're right. I for some reason I'm thinking ain't really nothing happened. Yeah. Now you're right. Yeah, you're right. Especially because it would have been put on social media too. No matter what, it would have been a Facebook status 30 minutes after it happened.
Exactly.
It would have been a long paragraph with
Yeah,
conversation.
that's what I mean. Yeah,
Yeah.
it just, such and such is, yeah, we just in a totally different space, and some people think it's a progression, and I kind of question it to a degree, and I think when you said that we have niche.
I'm sorry, Pianki. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but it's funny, man. Look at that comment,
Look
man.
at him, man. Look at
him. I'm sorry, man. That is hilarious.
Dude is. Hey, can you imagine a conversation between him and Marlon, man? My.
Hey, that'll be a paper.
I can't moderate that, man. It ain't no way. It ain't no way I can moderate that. I'll be off camera with the mute button the whole time.
Yeah,
having a heart attack laughing. Because Marlon gonna be dead ass serious and Sutek gonna be joking. Like that's how it be.
That's the messed up part.
That's how Marlon will be dead ass serious, and Sutek will be playing with his food type of shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it's like when you say we have these niche conversations, I wonder how long, like with Sutek and yourself making the point that we don't have the big mamas no more. Like that's like almost extinct.
Yeah.
And so I was just telling my grandmother-in-law, I mess with her all the time. She in her 90s, and I tell her she the only grandmother I got left because my grandmother passed in 2017, and like she raised me. So, but me and my wife grandmother is real close too, and so, but it ain't many like her left, and so as we continue to progress, I wonder how long these types of conversations about spiritual journeys and developments and evolution, because eventually it ain't gonna even be like a big deal that somebody walked away. Like it's gonna. I think it's gonna get to a point where I never was I was raised atheist agnostic or agnostic atheist. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but let me ask you this, because I know I took us off track a little bit. I'm gonna get back on before.
Nah, you good, man. I got off track because I was reading the comments before that one.
before we get out of here, I'm gonna get back on a little bit. So you left the Hebrew Israelite thing, and you eventually became an agnostic atheist. Was that an immediate transition, or did you slowly develop into that?
It was slow.
Okay.
The thing is, I didn't know what it was like. So an agnostic atheist. So an atheist is just the lack of belief. I mean, you could Google this term and pull it up on the thing if you want to, but we know what an atheist is just a lack of belief in a deity. An agnostic is like is like the philosophical aspect behind being an atheist. So that's like the rationalization of being an atheist. There's no evidence for nor against. It's unfalsifiable. You know what I mean? It's God is like an unfalsifiable type of thing. You know what I mean? That's like the logic behind my being an atheist. So the way I came to it was like slowly. You feel me? Like first I thought, okay, maybe I'm not a Hebrew Israelite, but maybe Yahweh's still God. Then I'm like, okay, nah. The praying thing always killed it for me. That always killed it. Because when it's time to pray, I'm always like, in my head, I'm like, man, this fake. You feel me? So that always killed it. So eventually I'm like, no, well, if I'm gonna say something is God, then I'm gonna say, okay, nature is God. You know what I mean? Then I start going off to that. And then I'm like, my whole conceptualization of God is based on Judeo-Christian theological belief. So I need to examine that and relook at the thing that I think of as God. So when I went to go back and re-examine that, because I'm moving forward, but that the way of thinking is still in my head. It's not erased out of my head yet. You know what I'm saying? So as I'm going back and I'm erasing that mindset and that way of explaining the world around me, that's when I come to being an agnostic atheist. So
Got you. And I think too that you coming to these conclusions at such an early age, bro, is a great thing because see myself, I was in my mid 30s, and I feel like had I known what you know at your age, it would have been like the because the guilt that come with religion, particularly Christianity, like when you do have a misstep or when you do have doubts or if you take a drink, you curse, you go out and have a good time, like the guilt to that, now you backslid. And I'm talking like if you come from the type of church that I attended, it's like damn. And you just get so indoctrinated with these doctrines that for our people, it's not even this not even our thing. Like, and that's what really get me at the end of the day. It's not even our culture. Like we've had somebody else culture superimposed on us, and I know my
and it
Christian,
depresses you.
yeah,
The
yeah.
guilt, like, and it's like I don't know if it's the guilt or what it is, but whenever you do something and everything you do, if it's like you paranoid, you become like a paranoid person now. You think God is watching everything you do, so you do something wrong, bro, that destroy you. Like you
You
like,
get in the
man,
you riding home. Lord protect me. I
yeah,
remember I used to go. Everybody that's familiar with St. Louis know what I'm talking about. I used to go to the Pink Slip every weekend because I like to see them tail feather shape. And so you know, I'm a man of a particular appetite, so to speak. And so every night I'm going to bed, Lord forgive me, because that's if I die not and you just
going to the strip club right before you praying for forgiveness every
yeah
time.
yeah I'm saying it before I go and I'm saying it after, like,
Man, but you said,
because
Lord, forgive me before the strip club.
yeah because you just forgive me for what I'm about to do and then
Yeah.
forgive me for what I just did, like you bugged out. It's because in your mind this is what you supposed to do.
Yeah.
And it's like but even when you get to a point where you quote unquote you saved and you don't do these things anymore, the thought of reverting back to a particular lifestyle, like you had a thought, you got to ask for forgiveness, like bro, this is it's ridiculous. Like when you got hindsight to this shit, it's ridiculous.
Pianki, I used to think I was gonna die if I cooked on a Saturday, my man. Listen to me now.
Man,
I was scared to drive my car because every time you start the car, you know there's a little explosion in the engine and everything like that. So in my head, the Torah law on not kindling a fire, I'm putting my life at risk. That like I'm that, so I
oh
completely
man,
get you.
Yeah,
I'm that deep in.
yeah.
When I
You
tell you
with
I
me,
was deep in, I'm deep in. I'm saying when Sabbath start, everything stop.
man. Like, and
No,
that and
no
that's what I
candles
mean.
lit in the house. My wife light a candle, blow that out. You feel me? None of that.
Yeah,
I'm I'm
it's
I'm
it's ridiculous.
I'm reading the man. Yeah,
And,
it is.
and when you think about again, this ain't even like if it was our shit, you would kind of be like, okay, our people been doing this for X amount of centuries, millennia, whatever. But it ain't even our shit. That's what really get me about it. This some other obscure people on this little speck of dust land shit
Yeah,
that been superimposed on us because I tell people all the time that this the best hustle anybody ever played any time in history. Some people saying that they God's chosen people. That's the best hustle you could ever have with everybody else buying into it. Because either people want to be you or people want to be adjacent to you. So either way it go, you winning. You got the British people, British racists want to be you, black people want to be you, or everybody just want to be adjacent to you. Because even the black people that say black people ain't you still want to be up under your ass.
but Bianchi though, what is better than you promising me either me living through the end of the world or me if I die before the world and being resurrected in the same body, perfect. You feel me? Like
Facts.
ain't there's nothing, there's no
Facts.
game you can sell. There's no dope in the world better than that.
That's real talk. And because and this it's like you play on every human fear that there is. We are it, I no longer do, so I no longer relate to it. Because like I I'm not tripping off dying. When I die, I'm gone. What I leave behind is my kids, my grandkids. I'm gonna leave them some grip. I'm gonna leave them a couple of businesses. And what they do with it is what they do with it. But I'm going in the ground. I'm gonna be dust, and that's gonna be that. But whatever remains of me is gonna be in the memories of those that I leave behind. I got a tattoo that say the greatness of a man is measured by how he is remembered.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all we
Yeah.
got when we gone. Ain't no by and by.
Yeah.
We define what we do right here, right now. And that was the biggest conflict with me and my wife when I transitioned away from this. Because I eventually I just said, baby, look, you because I'm concerned about your soul salvation. Well, I need you to be concerned about me in the physical form right now. Like no
Oh,
bullshit.
yeah.
I'm right here, right now, and you worried about. I might not die for another 100 years,
Yeah.
but I'm right here, right now, for you to enjoy right now. Like, but in the mind of a religious person, you gotta be concerned with what happens after.
Yeah.
Fuck what happens. Who gives a shit about what happens? I could care. I don't have the luxury to give a shit what happens after, and I got to get through every moment of every day like that. It bugs me out. But think about the fear that they play on. People scared to die.
Yep.
People scared of the punishment that comes with the transgressions they made during life, because everybody got things that they regret doing. And so when somebody I just had this discussion with my wife and her aunt. Her aunt literally told me that homosexuality is an eating
Be careful. Be careful.
well yeah. Homosexuality was an abomination in the Bible. And so I asked her, I said, what about molestation and rape? She said, well, it's not an abomination.
All
I said,
Bianchi said all the hot words, my boy. My bad.
I said, so wait. So homosexuality is worse. Like what two people consent to do is worse than a man violating a woman and a person violating a child.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. Yeah, that's ridiculous.
But a lie and and rape and murder and that's viewed the same to God because sin is sin. So these are the things that people that's in a religion have to wrestle with. So me lying it's to the point where when you talking to a person and
Yeah.
you can be saying how somebody is a pedophile, and they'll sit up and tell you, well, you lied. What the hell you mean? I'm talking about a pedophile, and you brought up me lying?
Yeah.
Wait, one ain't no bigger than the other. Are you fucking kidding me? Like this is the ridiculousness of this shit.
Yeah.
So for you and your queen to be able to break away from that shit at such a young age, brother, I salute you. I salute your intellect. Like I told you, I was impressed with you the first 5 minutes I heard you speak. So I just think it's an amazing thing for you to be free of that shit so early on in your life, because the longer you go with it, the harder it is to break away from. Because it was like I straddled the fence for
Yeah.
over 3 years, knowing that I ain't believing no more. And I think that's what that straddling and kind of pretending is what made it even more difficult for my wife and other people that cared about me to accept, because I wasn't, even though I would ask certain questions and I would be kind of coy with certain comments I made, I wasn't being clear about where I was. And it wasn't until after my grandmother died that I finally just like, oh man, I don't really give a shit. I'm just gonna tell people what it is. And so it seemed like it came out of nowhere, but
Because you lose the high that religion gives you, right? So
yeah,
the
exactly.
only reason why, and I was trying to, when I say you saying the hot words, I was trying to stop you. You know, those the target words for the algorithm.
My bad, my
Yeah,
bad.
I was so you ain't get kicked
I
out.
appreciate it.
Like, but um. Anyway, go ahead. What you were saying, it wasn't gonna be important.
Yeah, no. Just I think that it's excellent for people like you, young people, period, to just be able to break them chains, because at the older you get, the longer you linger in it, the more difficult it is. Even if you ain't doing it for yourself at that point, it's just difficult to break away from, because you know what it's gonna do to the people around you. Even if you like, I could care less about it. You don't want to be as forward with it as you possibly could be because of the people around you. Because yeah, everybody know I still have an affinity for the black church, just because of the people
The
who I'm
camaraderie.
tied to, the camaraderie, the institution,
Yeah.
etc. Uh,
You
but
you you get you get
yeah,
the same effect that your brain has when
exactly.
somebody's on drugs or when somebody takes a drink is the same chemical reaction that happens when you get into social settings that especially deal with faith-based things. It's the same thing that happens. Dopamine receptors, the dopamine fluctuates and your body gets excited because you're in a spot where you feel like you're all there for one goal and one aim, and you feel like you're doing something right, and you amongst people that accept you and make you feel good. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's all like a drug experience almost. The way it makes you feel, man.
real talk.
Really, that's what keeps you trapped. It's that feeling of and that possibility of losing all those connections that you got from that place. That's what keep you trapped. Because
Yeah.
once you come to terms with the whole death thing and the life thing, and when you die, you just die. The part that keep you trapped is the friendships, man. Because
Mm-hmm.
you know, if you say what you really thinking, if I tell my grandma I'm an atheist, my grandma ain't gonna talk to me forever. You know,
Or,
you know.
or, or, if you like me and my grandmother, like I can't say me and my grandmother, because my grandmother ain't care. It was just it was whatever it was with me. It was, but had she been one of those different kind of grandmothers, she still would talk to you, but she'd be so heartbroken, you would feel bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So it's like that's exactly what it is. And so, and even like with me, it's even more pronounced because the congregation of my wife's church, 80% is her family. So, and it always been that way. So yeah, it's just it's a difficult road to take, and it seemed like your situation was unique in that your family accepted you no matter what. Whatever transitions you was going through, you was good money with your family. So you didn't have to look like we lost our brother. Yeah, we lost our brother. So, but yeah, family, I think. Oh, here we got him back.
Yeah, man, my Wi-Fi was being iffy.
Yeah, it's doing that. I think I raised some difficult some difficult topics, so to speak.
Yeah,
But yeah, I was saying I think that it's good that your family was able to rock with you no matter what ideology or spiritual tradition you was
well, the
rolling
truth
with.
is, with my parents, we just don't talk about it. You know,
Okay. Okay.
yeah, it's just something like with my wife and stuff like that. It's great, but with my parents, you know, we don't talk about it because I know how hard. Well, with my mom, like you saying with your grandma, my mom doesn't care at all. I'm her son. You feel me? She don't care about none of that as long as I'm alright.
Yeah.
But with my dad, it's like the what you said with your wife. Like I'm trying to say, your soul. You feel me? So you can be part of the. He's a Jehovah's Witness, so he believe in the resurrection. So you can be a part of the resurrection. You feel me?
Hmm.
If you die, I want you to come back to life. You.
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So I avoid it at all costs with him because
And
I
you don't want to get mad at them because you know they love you. You know what I mean?
exactly
It's
exactly
like so. Yeah. It's a slippery slope, man.
yeah.
But so when it come to scholarship information, you thorough. And so where did you learn your methodology and your research skills, things of that nature? Was that always something you had, or did you pick those things up along the way?
Um, I think it's my person. I think it's like the type of person I am when I get on attached to a subject. Most times I have this weird. I got this like weird personality where I'll. It's kind of like an addictive personality. I'll uncover everything I can about it and become kind of obsessed with it for a little while. But I actually when I'm and I'll say this: the skills it's a skill set that was developed because I was going to school for journalism and I got into some summer programs prior to getting accepted at ASU for journalism. So my big thing is making sure that because I wanted to write about Black struggles, and my big thing is being respected. And the best way to be respected is to go through the proper channels to vet everything that you're talking about. And I noticed the same skill set that I would use when I'm writing an article is the same skill set that you would use when you're trying to figure out the source of a historical topic. You know what I mean? Or where something comes from. You use the same exact skill set. You're using the scientific method, um, formulating research questions, but the processes and the steps of that is the same thing I go to when I'm trying to make sure I articulate everything I need to articulate in the article I was writing and make sure that I don't write something that if I turn it into my professor, he gonna write, you're gonna get sued for libel because you ain't vet this out properly. You know what I mean? Like,
Okay.
so I
Yeah.
came from that type of background.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, you always that's just something that you was kind of you was always honing, and then you just continue. That it's just like it's part and parcel of who you are.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's what's up. That's what's up. So yeah, man, I think I pretty much covered everything that I wanted to touch on. Uh, let the audience know what it is you got going on with regards to your podcast, where they can link up with you on social media if that's the thing. And hopefully this ain't the last time you'll come on. I definitely got to get some of your boys on, Craig and the other brother you was telling me about, man, so we can build some more. But yeah, let the people know what you got going on.
Yeah. So, I'm trying to. I'm in the midst of working on a podcast about like modern topics, and the thing is, we're not talking about the like what he was saying. What I was talking about earlier, the community is very niche. It's like there's not a lot of listeners that listen to it, right? So if I'm going to start a podcast, my goal is to reach as many people as I possibly can. So it's more about like current events, things that affect us in our day-to-day lives, maybe relationship things. Like one of my episodes I want to do with Pianki is we got similar stories in how we met our wives. I don't want to go too far, but that's going to be a great episode anyway. So yeah, the name of it is going to be Cannabis Culture, Coffee, and Cannabis Enthusiast. I got a YouTube channel now. I'm pretty sure you can go subscribe to it. I don't have any content up as of yet, and it won't be like video format. It'll just be audio, like I'm attempting to do the podcast. So yeah, that's what we're doing. We're gonna talk about things like the Kyle Rittenhour verdict, the Arbery case, you know, a lot of current events and social issues that affect us today and now, and not so much about things that happened 2,500 years ago.
That's what's up, and we need that. I'm definitely looking forward to having that conversation with you on the podcast as well. So yeah, bro, I definitely appreciate your time. Been a definitely a good build, and like I say, man, I hope it ain't the last time. I definitely got to get your crew up here with you. And no, hey, I do got one more question though. I forgot about that. Are you open to having some dialogues / debates with any other brothers who be coming on the channel?
Man, we had a discussion in the back chat. I gotta be for the live. I gotta be a little, yeah, I am, and
Okay.
And my only problem would be, and my only issue is when we run into things that are facts. That's not like really gonna be worth arguing with. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
when we run it, like if we want to have like a philosophical discussion, a theological discussion, we can do things like that.
Yeah.
But I don't want to have a conversation about anything scientific with somebody that still think the Earth is flat. So,
right. So we definitely got to get into the nuances of the conversation.
Yeah.
With whoever I grab and try to pitch you again. So I got you. Yeah, I definitely appreciate it, bro. Real quick before we get off, the debate with Black Line Supreme and Nobody has been moved to January 18th. January 18th. That'll be on Zoom pay-per-view. $5 is all it's gonna cost. So we hope everybody that support the channel will buy that pay-per-view. The debate is the Black church an extension of the European church, and is Christianity part and parcel to white supremacy? So y'all stay tuned for that. I also got a dialogue coming up with the brother Dustin Larkin next Tuesday. Black Line Supreme, if you're listening, I might need you to moderate that. The Holy Spirit versus or the Netchers, which one is really edifying? And Kemet or Christianity, who had the original Trinity? So we're gonna parse those things out, and like I say, I might need my brother Black Line Supreme to moderate. Other than that, we're trying to put this hilarious dialogue with my brother, the God Body, Marlon Simmons, and my brother Sue Tech together.
We need to do pay-per-view for that one.
You ain't lying.
I'll pay to see that one too, man.
I might be able to charge a dub for that one.
I'm trying to tell you. 1999.
You hear me? So we gonna try to get that together, and then I'm looking for somebody for Q. Marlon stepped up to that one. Marlon wants to smoke, so and then Captain K always willing to talk. So we gonna try to put some conversations and some dialogues together. We also got one coming up in the near future between my brother Google Scholar and my brother the conscious Christian Jerome Green. They're gonna be talking about secular morality versus biblical morality.
That's gonna be
so yeah, we're gonna try to get some content out to you and some not entertainment but edutainment, if you will. And so y'all stick with us, and we'll be black at it. Until next time, that's peace. I appreciate you, bro.
All right, bro.
All right, man. Peace.